My school denied me my legally prescribed medication. Little did they know I'm very close with a local celebrity. I have epilepsy, controlled, medically managed epilepsy. I was diagnosed at 12 after seizing during a soccer practice. Dropped mid-sprint, woke up in an ambulance with my mom squeezing my hand. It took 8 months, 2 neurologists, and 1 medication adjustment to get my seizures under control. By high school, I'd been stable for almost 2 years. No episodes, no scares. Just a small white pill at noon every single day, taken at the nurse's office because the district had a strict no self-administration policy. My old nurse had the system down. She kept my bottle in a locked cabinet, logged each dose, and had it ready before I even knocked. Never had a problem. Then junior year started, and there was a new nurse. First day back, I walked in, introduced myself, explained my condition, and handed over my prescription bottle. She looked at it, turned it over once, and slid it back across the counter like I'd handed her a fake ID. We need written authorization from your physician before we can dispense anything. I blinked. The label has my name, my doctor's name, the pharmacy, the fill date, and the dosage instructions. What else do you need? She folded her hands. A signed authorization form from the prescribing physician. District policy. I asked how long that would take. She said a few days to a week, depending on the doctor's office. I reminded her that I took this medication every day at noon, specifically to prevent neurological events, that skipping doses wasn't a casual inconvenience. She nodded like I'd said something mildly interesting and repeated herself. Nothing she could do. I went back to class, told myself it would be sorted by noon. It wasn't. Noon came and went. My bottle sat in my backpack because I wasn't allowed to self-administer. By 1:30, I felt the first warning sign. A flicker at the edge of my vision. A flat, wrong feeling behind my eyes that I recognized immediately because I'd felt it before. 2 years ago, right before a bad one. I packed my things and went back to the nurse. I told her exactly what I was experiencing. I used the word prodrome, the clinical term for the early warning phase before a seizure, because my neurologist had told me to use clinical language with school staff so they'd take me seriously. I was specific. I was calm. She told me to sit in the waiting area and drink some water. I was having a medical warning event, and she was offering me a paper cup. I asked to speak with the principal. The vice principal came out instead. Big guy, coached something on weekends, had the energy of someone who confused being in charge of teenagers with being important. I explained everything from the start. The diagnosis, the medication, the policy hold, the warning signs I was currently feeling while standing in his office. He crossed his arms. I understand your frustration, but we can't make exceptions to district policy. If we made one for you, we'd have to make them for everyone. I kept my voice even. I'm not asking for an exception. I'm asking you to call my neurologist's office right now, get the signature, and follow your own policy. That's a 5-minute phone call. He said that wasn't his job. I asked to use the phone to call home. He pointed to the counter like he was doing me a favor. I think he expected me to reach my mom, who would apologize on my behalf and tell me to hang tight. What nobody at that school knew, what I had genuinely never mentioned to a teacher or a classmate, was that my aunt had been the lead anchor at the top-rated local news station for 11 years. Her face was on bus stop benches across the county. She signed off the 6 o'clock broadcast 5 nights a week. She was the kind of person who, when she walked into a room, things moved differently around her. I called the station's main line from the front office phone with the vice principal standing 6 feet away. Receptionist answered. I asked for my aunt by her first name. Brief pause. She asked who was calling. I gave my name, said I was her niece, said it was urgent. They put me through in under 30 seconds. I told my aunt everything in 90 seconds flat. The new nurse, the policy hold, the vice principal's response, the warning signs I was currently having while standing in the front office. She didn't interrupt once. When I finished, she said, okay, I'm going to make some calls. Go sit down and stay calm. I hung up, went back to the waiting area, drank the water, watched the clock above the attendance window. 38 minutes later, the vice principal appeared at the door of my history class. My teacher stopped mid-sentence. He scanned the room, found me, and his face was the color of old chalk. He said very quietly, would you like to come take your medication now? I closed my notebook, pushed back my chair, and walked out.